All right, everyone, welcome to the first Q&A session for the first week of October, the start of Q4. Today is Monday, October 4th, I believe. There it is. All right, we got a bunch of questions. We're probably going to start off with looking at stocks. So I'm going to go ahead and get that part moving. And after that, we will talk about some other things. Here we are. Okay. And quick plug, Understanding Bitcoin, Dubai, October 14, 15, and stick around for the financial summit. Okay, so we're going to look at stocks. I actually forgot to look at traditional markets today. Man, totally forgot on the public stream. Looks like the stock market is down, but Bitcoin is somewhat hanging in there. Somewhat. Maybe that's why it kind of fell. Let me look at the stock market the last 10 minutes. No, stock market's been dropping all morning, and Bitcoin is treading water. Not well, but it's staying alive. Staying alive a little bit. I don't like the break of this low, though. Well, we'll get to that. Let's look at some traditional markets. Here's the US dollar. Nope, that's the Korean won. Okay, anyway, we're gonna look at your requests. We begin with VOR. Let's see what this is all about. So VOR looks like a recent IPO, which fell clearly more than 50%. Oh, wow, I must have drawn these things a while ago. And look at that. I was, well, more right than wrong, as in we're going to go up, we're going to pull back, and then we're probably going to rally. But look at that beautiful rally off the MRI buy, off the support line. And it's up 18%, recent IPO, 70% drop, MRI buy daily on Wednesday. Right. So if I got in properly on this MRI buy, I would, not want to lose money on this trade. Now, I believe this is going to go higher, but I would now be putting my stop loss, at this moving average and possibly raising it tomorrow. So, or I would already be getting out because I don't like how this low is now lower than the prior 4 candles at the close. Not to mention, we've lost the support of the short-term moving average. I would take it easy for now. Let me add the numbers to the MRI. And I don't like this one. This is if this thing can't rebound by end of day, I would consider taking my profit. But I wouldn't mind getting back into this trade upon the break of these highs. So we're going to slide this over. And I would be expecting a nice, and when we do break that, I mean, the stop loss will probably be somewhere over there, right? But we need to get above that green line. Might take a few days. So I would look for the breakout. Obviously, would never short this asset. And yeah, eventually your target becomes the MRI resistance line. Okay, next. GB. I remember looking at this several times. Oh, look at that. Yeah, so this hurts a little bit, right? This one hurts a little because clearly the stop loss would have been hit. See, there was a weekly MRI buy. There was a weekly MRI buy somewhere back here, and it just took a while to get going. So, you just got to tip your hat to the market. It would have stopped me out if you are more patient than me and you set, a better stop loss. You're doing well. I'm not going to cheat. I'm just going to delete this thing. I mean, clearly, I would have been stopped out. and I would not have gotten a re-entry, no earnings. So the idea was accurate. I mean, it's fallen quite a bit. It was due for a monster rebound, and it just, took a few extra days to get going. Maybe the weekly chart of extension B, if I was only focusing on trading and I stayed patient and I paid attention a little bit to the fundamentals. Hey, Patrick, I'm going to give you voice privileges. I would love to know what happened to your trade on this stock.
The biggest problem was it has very low volume. So every time I bought or sold anything, the price would change drastically. So
Well,
I eventually got stopped out.
You got stopped out. Okay. Where did you get stopped out? Back here in mid-September or on this ridiculous spike in late September?
Yeah,
around
the
here.
Previous one. Yeah, the previous one.
Okay, so you didn't lose much. You lost like 20 cents per share.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it hurts. Well, like it hurts to watch this, but you got to tip your hat to the market. But you know what? If it closes this gap, you could get another opportunity.
Oh, if it dips down and then
right. I mean, like as the moving averages cross, right? Like the bullish crossover. So if this thing pulls back into the bullish crossover, and you can probably pick this back up at the prior swing high at about 650 in mid-October. Maybe the stock market will be rebounding by then as well.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that one hurts. All right, next. GM. Oh, man, did you get stopped out of this too?
No, I sold at a profit about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, beautiful.
Before it went down.
Oh, okay, so you sold here.
Yeah.
Okay, so you avoided the big gap. Okay, great. So that was a nice profitable trade. All right, yeah, this wick right here hurts, man. I don't know. Sometimes the market does that. Like it's rare. It's rare. I mean, you want to stay more patient, but I mean, the low was never broken. I probably would have gotten stopped out here. I would not have had the patience to wait through this consolidation. Yeah, weekly and the daily, man, what perfect timing. And then it just took a few weeks to get moving. I mean, this is where options trading can make you be a little bit more patient, because if you're in an options trade, you would buy, 3 or 4 months worth of time. And these intraday swings don't really affect the option price as much. And you can stay more patient with an options trade. So had I done this with an options trade, I probably would have been able to stick around.
What companies do you prefer to do options trading with?
I'm sorry, say again?
For options trading, do you like E-Trade or what? I don't know, JP Morgan?
Swing trade. You know what? DM me after, because I got that options course.
Okay.
Have you ever traded options?
No.
Okay. They're very risky, but they're also, if you use them properly, they are incredible. Yeah, I'll shoot you a DM after the show.
Okay.
All right, cool. Okay, next. All right, I do have to boogie along here. All right, new MRIs, Zoom. Oh, see, that's rough. I would wait. Zoom is taking a beating, huh? I would wait. I would. See, this is a very bearish picture. And I would at least wait for the daily MRI buy and see if it's good. This would be the second consecutive daily MRI buy. And the first MRI buy still has its extensions moving along, right? So like here was a beautiful MRI sell preceded by an MRI buy. This MRI buy was a short, upswing, but then earnings crushed it. Weekly MRI buy didn't do anything. And now we still have extensions of this MRI buy with a second consecutive coming up. So I would stay patient and wait. It's also a very bearish picture. Like I'd rather be short right now than long, but it may be due for a rebound. I mean, the stock is down 50%. So follow up on this. Keep an eye on that one. Follow up. I'm going to try and do another Q&A on Thursday, even though Thursday is a travel day for me. We'll see. CPOP. Whoa, that's CPOR. Oh boy, see, I don't like this because it crashed. It went down to nothing and it's not moving. So I don't like I like the MRI weekly and daily combo, but I hate today's candle. And if you are you Patrick, did you enter this yet?
No, it looked pretty bad. So
I mean, it looked pretty damn good on September 29th.
Yeah, but
right? MRI warning inside a weekly buy, but it's now lost all of that. So I would not be entering this, but also the overall market is not looking very strong right now. So
yeah, I was wondering about that. Do you think it's probably good to kind of wait off on a lot of long trades for a couple of weeks until this?
Well, not necessarily weeks. Now, I still believe that the stock market is going to hit the long. Oh, wow. Look at oil. I keep telling you. Oh, tomorrow. I got to look at oil. MRI sell coming up tomorrow. I still think that the daily S&P should hit the long-term moving average, which sucks for your Bitcoin longs. As long as Bitcoin can tread water, as long as Bitcoin can hang in there, you know, above 47,000, while the S&P bounces off the 200-day, that could send Bitcoin flying after that. So right now, the S&P is making a new closing low. And on Friday, it made a new swing low. So I would be very careful with bullish positions on stocks at the moment. But at the same time, because the S&P has already been declining for a month, I wouldn't exactly be rushing into brand new short trades either. So I would just take a little bit of a breather on entering positions unless they're very short term. For example, like this thing here, like you have a daily MRI buy inside a weekly MRI buy. If you caught it on this candle, you would just keep tightening up your stop loss. Like had I got in here or here, I would already be out. But I would wait for the overall stock market to give me bullish signs before I start trying to time dips. That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay. Next, we have FIS. Same thing. I'm not even going to get into the details. I think this is very clear what's going on here. It is a weekly MRI buy, but that's a horrible candle today. So again, if you're not in, I would stay away, and earnings is coming, but that's still a month away though. So you're okay. Yeah, I do not like the look of this chart at all. At all. But if the market reverses, that could be an option. AES. Same thing. It's same thing. I would not go long yet. I would wait for the overall stock market to reverse, but these are good candidates if it does. And we are revisiting ARCE. This was a bullish trade that failed. You have any bullish trades that succeeded?
Oh, just like the GM and the VOR.
Yeah, man. I mean, the same trade done earlier would have been nice and profitable, obviously. Well, maybe not that wick. Man. Yeah, we gotta talk about options. Options make this better. Yeah, so the weekly MRI is coming in, but the chart looks horrible. I would wait. I would wait. Wait a few more days. Let's see if the market can like flush people out, bounce off the 200-day and go back up. Like this looks way more bearish than bullish right now. ICVX. Well, this one is still alive. Kinda. Depending on where you set your stop loss. I don't know why I had a bullish trade on this. Makes no sense, really. It's not really doing anything. It's just flat. I would just stay away from it. And LHCG. No, this looks horrible. Again, weekly MRI, daily MRI, but the overall market is just tanking everything. So you need strength. You need some, positive volume here. Again, beautiful MRI top there. And I would wait for one more cycle. Though this thing has dropped quite a bit. So it does have potential in the near future when the market reverses. And finally, we have IH. Another one. Yeah, bear market. Bear market took us out. Well, the stop loss hasn't been hit yet, but considering how the overall market is doing, today's candle would have gotten me out of that trade. Like the moment today's candle started trading below prior day's candle, like I no longer have confidence in this. Looked good off the doji, consolidation, some hope, and today all hope is lost, but there was also earnings, so I would not have been holding this through earnings anyway. All right.
Thanks.
No problem. All right, that's all the stocks we have. Jovi, let's look at your question. You mentioned that school systems are the issue in America. What would you say are the main issues with the school system? The main issue with the school system is that most teachers are anti-capitalism and pro-socialism, communism, government handouts, printing money, getting something for nothing. They don't really get paid based on, there was a factor of how good they are at their job, but that factor is very limited. And as a student, like myself, going through the New York public school system, like some of the teachers were really, really bad. A few were good, but some are bad. And once a teacher, gets comfortable and gets tenure, it's the school system is bad because of the personality of the teachers that it generally draws. And that's the problem. School system needs to be more capitalistic and less dependent on the government payments. It's the only way to fix it. Because you're seeing what's going on now. So that's the problem. Unions are a problem. And the general, like any teacher that's really capitalist will quit being a teacher and start being a capitalist. Like that was me. I was a high school teacher for a year and I'm like, you know what? No, I need to, do something better for myself. That's the biggest problem. Yeah, Mark, thanks for reminding me about the S&P. We are looking at the S&P, and the S&P is looking pretty bad. But I believe the S&P will not go below the 200-day moving average because the government will print their $1 trillion coin, maybe at trillion dollar coins, and they will not let the debt ceiling thing happened, I mean, they'll figure it out. Yeah, the S&P did destroy the Bitcoin bullish setup in March, but Bitcoin is so much stronger fundamentally. A year and a half, it's been a year and a half since March 2020, guys. A year and a half. That is like a quarter of a lifetime in Bitcoin world, okay? So a crash in the S&P is not going to destroy Bitcoin like it did in 2020. Bitcoin is a lot stronger. We got countries buying Bitcoin now, mining them with volcanoes. You got Tesla buying Bitcoin. More corporates are going to do it. So, I mean, Bitcoin may still drop, but I'm still fairly bullish. And I also think the S&P is about to reverse. Yeah, I would like to buy the S&P dip. In a perfect world, I would get an MRI buy along with the 200-day moving average or close to it, right? So unfortunately, this would mean that the S&P is going to crash this week. And if it does crash this week, Bitcoin might crash this week, which is unfortunate, but that would be a buying opportunity. It would kind of suck if the MRI buy comes in at, say, 40. I mean, if the MRI buy comes in the vicinity of 42.50, I think that's okay. It didn't quite get to the moving average, but at least it made a new low at the MRI buy. In a perfect world, we would consolidate this week, break the MRI count, start a new MRI count, and then bottom the S&P 500 at the end of October at a higher price, say 42.40, let's say, something like that, right? So like a slow bleed into the long-term moving average. And then on a final day, just like a spike down and then a quick recovery. All right, and finally, we're going to close out with a few non-trading questions. Let me stop the screen share. Australia is now saying it is going to open borders in November, December. I believe they are bluffing, and their New South Wales premier resigning is also concerning. Yeah, she was a corrupt politician, like almost all of them are, and she should be in prison in isolation, wearing 2 masks, never to speak to another human being ever again. And that is the best she deserves for what she's done. There are others just as worse in the Australian government ruling their people. And I do not believe Australia is going to open November, December. I don't. Unless there is a complete overhaul of Australia, and I do not see that happening peacefully. Should we just comply with mask mandates inside shops, or should we just reject to enter? I generally enter without a mask. If I'm told to put a mask on, I tend to just do it, quickly do my thing in the shop, and inform the shop that I will not be shopping there again because of their mandates. I do the same thing with restaurants that require proof of vaccine. I basically inform them that as long as they do that, I will never be eating there again, even after the vaccine mandates stop. And hopefully they will stop. I do the same thing at airports. I generally walk through an airport without a mask. It's usually like on my chin or something. And I wait for someone to tell me something. And then I'll put it on. And then when I walk away and that person is walking in the opposite direction, and that person is nowhere near me, it's coming back down again. And I wait for someone else to say something. Now, if you are on the airplane, I mean, I've been told to, wear the mask on the airplane as well. You don't want to push it. Usually, if the same person has to tell you 3 times to put a mask on, it can start to cause a problem. The first time is not a problem. The second time, they start to get frustrated. Yeah. So I try to avoid the same person telling me to put on my mask 3 times. But twice, you can get away with that. And you'll probably be with your mask off 80% of the time of wherever you are, including a flight, before the same person has to inform you for the 3rd time that put your mask on. It's very annoying. And the masks don't do anything, right? That's the frustrating part. On every single mask, it says it does not prevent COVID. Like it says it on the box on every single mask. They are literally insane. What's the difference between cholesterol in our body and cholesterol in our food? I'm not qualified to answer that. And they are or are not related. I'm not qualified enough to answer that. Does eating high cholesterol food raise your body cholesterol? Again, I'm not qualified to answer that. All I can tell you is that I eat a lot of cholesterol, as much as I can. That's me. But I eat healthy cholesterol like eggs. And just go ahead and Google, why did the FDA remove warnings on cholesterol, and start reading those articles to better understand why I eat a lot of cholesterol and I am not concerned. But that's me. Not really following this question. I mean, supply and demand. I mean, look, a country does best when it has cheap open trade. Country does best. That's all I can say on the supply and demand global curve. Your question was a bit confusing there. Yeah, of course, there are problems with an appreciating currency. When a currency appreciates, other countries have a tough time buying your goods and services. So an appreciating currency is not great for a country. It's great for the people that live in that country because they can now take cheap vacations and spend their money elsewhere. But it's hard on exports. So what you do is you make better products. If your currency is appreciating, you should be wealthier, right? I mean, if look at the opposite situation, Venezuela, Zimbabwe, if your Turkey, if your currency is crashing, those people are poorer. So if the currency of your country is increasing, you are wealthier. Build a better product that people will buy. You can lower the price of your product so people will buy, right? You become wealthier. Like, adjust your business to a rising currency. I think a rising currency is more good than bad, but most countries, because they are run by Keynesian economists that just want to print money, they see rising currencies as bad. I see rising currencies as good. All right, guys, I got to get going. A bunch of work to get done. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all on the next one. Let's hope Bitcoin recovers back above 48. Bye, guys. All right, hello and welcome everyone back to our second Q&A session for the week. This will probably be our last session for the week, and I don't know if I'll be able to do any next week because it is complete craziness in Dubai with all of my conferences. So we're just gonna jump right into it, and we're gonna do some charting. This is that crazy Dubai schedule. Understanding Bitcoin is the one that I'm actually hosting. Please come out to Dubai and then stick around for the financial summit. Okay, charts. The dollar is just ripping. Okay, here we go. QCOM. You know what? Hey man, I'm just gonna give you speaking privileges. So feel free to comment on anything you like. Patrick, you got speaking privileges, and Mark, you got speaking privileges. All right.
Okay, the first
Bye.
list it has weekly and daily MRIs coming up. So it's possible.
Oh, that is beautiful. The problem is it also has earnings coming up, but you still have time. That's the weekly chart, right? You're on a weekly warning and on a daily scale. And look at the weekly MRI top, how perfect that was right up there. And that's a daily one as well, but this would have, yeah, see earnings. Earnings messed you up completely. The MRI call was absolutely accurate, but earnings ruined your trade. You see that, right? This is why you would get out off the MRI top before earnings after this drop. But then after the crash, after the earnings, you can then probably short it some more because now all the chart metrics and a bad earnings call and a monthly MRI top to boot gives you more confidence. This I like. I like this. I mean, it's grossly oversold. You already hit extension C. How close are we to extension B? Let's put in, nope, wrong one. Let's put in some details. Extension details all. Boom. Let's see how close we are. We are extension A 11 and extension B 9. So we still have a little bit of room to hit extension B. Would have been nice if extension B was, closer to 11. But I do like this in the next coming days with a little bit of strength to go long, especially if the market is rallying. Like if the market starts to rally, this would look really, really nice. Yeah, it gets too cluttered sometimes, so I turn those off. Yeah, I like this. I like this as a near-term bullish trade. Nice find. GoPro. Oh God, I was buying this at like $2 last year, and this thing went all the way to 20, which is insane because I did not stick around long enough. Yeah, oh, it went to 14, but still, this thing was like $2 right here, $2. Daily chart on GoPro. I don't like the chart pattern. Look, Consensio is telling you that this thing is in trouble. Yeah, MRI daily coming up, nothing on weekly yet. I would wait. I would wait. And if it's really crashing into the MRI and you see some strength, yeah, that's a definitely, potential buy. By the way, all of your suggestions, Patrick, are buying the dips and selling the tops. You should also consider buying and selling breakdowns and breakouts, right? Because if I put red stars on this, guess what? This candle here breaking the support line of $9.30. Not only is it a support line, it is also a consolidation point. And this is probably your red star candle. No, this one was. This would have been your red star candle. So actually, like buying a put on this, even though it's a pretty, so like buying a put on this, for example, would have been a nice, breakdown trade. Ideally, I don't like to short $9 stocks, but you get the point, right? Not the MRI doesn't only help you buy the dips, it can also do a great job helping you buy the breakout or sell the breakdown. There is lots of ways to use it. You just got to be consistent. Okay. Next. I like it, but not as much as that other one. Okay. And GoPro is also somewhat useless. Like not useless, but someone should have bought them out at $2 for their intellectual property. I don't like one trick pony companies. companies with one product, GoPro, Fitbit, things like that. One product with some intellectual property is not enough. BLNK. Yeah, same exact thing. Same exact thing. Market reverses. I really hate this descending triangle, though. I mean, this looks like a nightmare. You would be going long in something that looks like it's ready to fall back down to the initial breakout area, right? So this thing is ready to go back to 12 bucks. So I would be real careful here with going long off the MRI, because this thing looks like a disaster in the making. Okay, you can speculate on the long trade, but don't be too scared to then flip that to a short as this thing, pukes out a lung from 26 down to 15. Because look at the macro picture here. Disaster, absolute disaster. Next. All right, MRI buys, Zoom. We covered Zoom last time. Yeah, so I don't like this candle. What is this blue line? I'm guessing the blue line is where I expected this thing to crash to and then rebound from, because that is what that other stock looks like, the prior swing high. And we're now below this line. Zoom looks like it's in a little bit of trouble. It is grossly oversold. I would stay a little patient here. I would need, a little bit more. So if it's having a nice positive day tomorrow, I would then consider it. If I was to buy into Zoom, and you know what, I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna take the shot. Stop loss, very tight, very tight. I would maybe give it one more day, but whatever low it makes tomorrow, tomorrow's low becomes my stop loss. So next time we do this, definitely remind me to look at Zoom. And the reward is not that high, man. It's just back to the MRI resistance line. I'm going to give myself a little bit of wiggle room here. Yeah, 2 versus 8% is a decent ratio. It's 4 to 1. We'll leave it there.
Yes.
Yeah, you got anything else to say?
No.
Foot Locker. Same exact thing as Zoom. Identical. So I will put an identical measure. I would give it wiggle room tomorrow for tomorrow's swing low. But other than that, where is the... Oh, wow. See, look at that. This one has a way better risk reward ratio, but it may not go that high. So maybe here. It's more of a 10 to 1. But it still has to break a moving average, which is not easy. See, this is what I mean about tomorrow's low. See that? Same concept. 17th MRI buy. Look what happened on the 20th. And then this is actually, I probably would have panic sold. I can't see myself unless I was in the options trade and it was properly risk managed. But this probably would have concerned me, and I probably would have got out at the worst moment, and then I would have been crying in the corner. But you do want to give it, what if the MRI by itself is creating the ultimate low, which it is here. See, you had a prior swing low back on the 15th. So you could use a little bit of wiggle room from that swing low, but you literally opened below that. And Patrick, have you watched my risk management videos?
No, not yet. No.
Oh, do you have my risk management videos?
Yeah, no, I haven't purchased that yet.
Okay, so you just have the MRI and you paid for the Q&A.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start again.
I'm gonna message you. I'm definitely gonna message you right after this. Okay. So in my risk management videos, I talk about how if your stock opens the day below your stop loss, I would remove the stop loss and give it, half an hour to an hour to make up its mind, because then I got a shot at a full recovery. So I actually literally talk about this situation. But this would have been tough, but this is what I mean about giving it one more day of wiggle room before panic selling and sticking with the MRI buy. But then if you held it too long, over here, the next day you kind of got totally screwed. Trading's not easy. All right, next. Good stocks though. Facebook. Yeah, see, this one is better, right? Because this one has a very clean stop loss. But Facebook just had a disaster on their hands, right? So I would be careful. I would really, Facebook would probably get sued over this nonsense. You're supposed to buy when there's blood on the streets, but you can risk it. Your stop loss is probably the today's swing low. At worst, that swing low. I also think the overall market should recover soon. I'm not going to put a thing on there. ARC. I would not touch this with a 10. Am I looking at the right ARC?
No, it's another one.
Sorry, I got like construction all around me. Yes or no?
No, it's a different one.
Different ARC. Sorry, man. I need the actual sticker.
Oh, yeah, I gave you the wrong sticker. Yeah, forget it. It's not a good one.
NVDA.
So this last list is all semiconductor. So they're all, for some reason, they're all red sevens. So
You talking about like the ARC, like ETFs?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I'll need to take a look at them. I don't really have an opinion on this.
Okay.
I don't like the chart. Micron. Oh man, I forgot to look at MicroStrategies in the public stream. Well, this certainly didn't work out at all. Why did I even put this here? Like,
we looked at it about a week ago.
Oh, and it's an earnings play, and it's an earnings announcement, right? So what the hell was I thinking? Was there a weekly something? Well, I'm trying to figure out why that's there, right? Because I would never suggest a trade the day of earnings.
No, you mentioned the earnings. So, a different game buy-in. Thank God.
Yeah, but there's also no MRI play here.
Well,
So
yeah,
what-
it's just a red 7 now.
Right, I know, but even back here, right? Like at this
Yeah.
point, right? I mean, there was no MRI, right? So
Right,
what was what the hell was my? Also, I put it on the following day, right? So it would have meant that it had to go up the next day to enter the trade, because my line of entry is not in the candle, it's on the following day. And also, because I'm fairly consistent with these things, and also the close is down there. So it would have had to have a good earnings day to go long, and I'm fairly sure I would have said that, but otherwise this makes no sense to be there. Yeah, this looks like it's ready to go down and go down hard. So I would not long this whatsoever.
Okay.
But the MRI buy is coming, 1 to 4 candle correction, and then probably lower. But if the market is rising, then I wouldn't short. TSM. Right. This is again another disastrous looking chart. Earnings is very soon, October 13th. So I wouldn't touch this even if the MRI buy comes. On. Well, that trade worked out. Look at that beauty.
Yeah, I've made money, good money on before.
Did you enter this?
Yeah, I think it was that one.
Beautiful. Look at that. Perfect top call too.
But I got out after like 3-4 days. So
Oh, you didn't wait? You didn't wait till it hit 45 and change?
I think it dipped down to around 43 or so, and I just got out.
Man, because yeah, see, look, it stopped dead on at the MRI resistance line. But then there was another opportunity to go long at the breakout of the double top and consolidation. See, a clean top followed by a comeback two-set top with consolidation is the perfect breakout trade.
Yeah, it would have been great to stay in longer.
Yeah. But either way, I would have sold on this red candle. Like if I didn't sell on this red candle, I would have sold on that one.
Yeah, that's where I got out.
Oh, okay, you got out on this red candle.
Yeah, I was like, fuck it, I got money.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's a good trade, man. That's a good trade. And yeah, I would be eyeing this. Keep in mind, it isn't a weekly top too. You could have totally taken advantage of that one. Nice weekly top. Also, the daily chart could have kept you in a little bit longer because of the weekly, like the weekly bullishness. But yeah, I would be keeping a close eye on this, man. This looks promising. This looks promising. Worked once, might work again. Remind me of this in a few days.
Okay.
We're wrapping up, guys. AMAT, I got like 3 left. Oh boy, what is that? Tone Vays could not be more wrong. but I know how I draw these things because I'm consistent. This meant we needed a break of this candle's high, which we did not get because I am looking for the ultimate breakout above the consolidation. So this is still going to happen eventually when this thing eventually breaks that top. And right now it is looking very promising because of the 200-day moving average, and we're at the bottom of the range. So this is another one I would be looking at. I hate the way the 5th candle came out. So the only way you're actually going to get your MRI buy is if we dip lower below the moving average, which alters this chart. So let's follow up on this again in a few days as well.
Good.
LRCX. Yeah, disaster. Disaster. But definitely due for a dead cat bounce, but earnings is coming and it's coming soon. So I would be careful. This thing could keep tanking into earnings, but if it is tanking into earnings, earnings is a high probability of beating the expectation. But if it's gonna bounce pre-earnings because it's oversold, then earnings has a high probability of crushing the expectation. So I would be very careful and not risk this one. A last one. AVGO. I don't like it. It's like middle of nowhere. It's consolidating. The low was made badly. I would stay away from it. It's gapping too much. I don't know. I'm not a fan, really. It's definitely more bullish than bearish. I would wait for a breakout. Okay, done. Man,
okay, thanks.
Okay. All right, Mark, what do you got? Oh, you're asking me what I... Oh, there you are. You're asking me what I use for self-testing. So for self-testing, I'm going to pause this because I don't want everyone using my system so so that I don't have enough tests. So let's pause the video. Sorry, everyone. The Tone Vays secrets of traveling as best he can in a clown world of COVID tests will not be made public. Okay, what am I doing here? First, I want to do this, and then I want to pause the video. All right, and we are back recording after a very quick discussion of how Tone travels the world as best he can in this insanity of clown world COVID. Okay. Hope you guys enjoyed that. All right, Mark, Bitcoin discussion, go.
Yeah. So one of the things that I'm always doing is just kind of looking for random correlations or inverse correlations, not necessarily for trading, but just kind of for analysis. And I think we mentioned this on the last Q&A that I was on about this. I have this hypothesis about Tesla, MicroStrategy, and Bitcoin, believing that Tesla is leading the move. And if you look at all three charts on like a higher time frame, maybe weekly or 4 or 5 day, you'll see a trend line, kind of like a triangular trend line that Tesla broke. This move just broke it for Bitcoin, and MicroStrategy is trying to push on it right now. Oh, not right now, maybe this week. And if MicroStrategy breaks out of that, it's going to have a big move to follow Bitcoin and Tesla.
Right. Agreed. I mean, they're both holding a lot of Bitcoin. MicroStrategy is holding a lot of Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin breaks out the new all-time high, MicroStrategy will as well.
Yeah.
No, look, okay, maybe not all time.
It's just
okay. Look. You have to discount these 2 weeks. You can't factor them in. This is an exponential FOMO unreasonable blow off top. Realistically, if people behaved rationally, this candle and this candle would not exist. Okay, so realistically, Tesla MSTR double topped between here and here. In fact, MSTR probably hit a new all-time high here, right? Because look at the Bitcoin chart. This is actually a really good discussion. Look at the Bitcoin chart on a weekly scale, okay? The Bitcoin chart on a weekly scale hit a top in April, right? MicroStrategy hit a top in February 2021. Why did that happen? Why didn't MicroStrategy hit an all-time high in April here along with Bitcoin? Okay, and the reason is because this was an unreasonable FOMO because of MicroStrategy buying Bitcoin. This is not the actual correlation to Bitcoin. This is completely Bitcoin correlated. This was Bitcoin correlated. This is GameStop.
Yeah.
Equivalent. Okay. So now you need to remove this from any kind of technical analysis, like most technical analysis evaluation. So now you're going, okay, this correlates with Bitcoin's all-time high. And this perfectly correlates with the second Bitcoin all-time high, right? Because that's this one here in August. But by the time this rolls around, MicroStrategy has a lot more Bitcoin than it did here because they bought more Bitcoin, right? So MicroStrategies is perfectly correlated with Bitcoin if you remove the FOMO, like not enough stock going around, basically. Like the GBTC premium kind of bullshit. Okay?
Yeah.
So MicroStrategy will break out to a realistic all-time high with Bitcoin. MicroStrategy is completely correlated with Bitcoin. Okay? Now, Tesla, on the other hand,
Yeah, now the correlation, I totally agree with your, like basically MicroStrategy is an indirect ETF and is going to be correlated, but also I view them as kind of like a singular tech, like an advanced tech, not sector, but grouping, right? And yes,
MicroStrategy.
yeah, well, MicroStrategy is more closely related to Bitcoin. Tesla is trying to push the limits on different technology.
Like, look, Tesla's Bitcoin position is virtually irrelevant, right? Like Bitcoin, Bitcoin is responsible for maybe 10% of Tesla's correlation to Bitcoin.
Yes.
MicroStrategy is the opposite. It's like 90%.
But so my correlation with Tesla and Bitcoin has to do more with like innovative tech, right?
Exactly. 90% of the reason why Tesla is correlating with Bitcoin is because generally Bitcoin is correlated to the stock market and more so to the tech sector and more so to the most innovative tech sector. And Tesla holds some Bitcoin. And all the Bitcoin holders either want a Lambo or a Tesla.
Right. So if you look, Tesla broke out a few weeks ago and from this downsloping trend line, and now Bitcoin's following and MicroStrategy is right on the heels.
Right. So Tesla did break the April high and the August high, right? Because Tesla has lots of speculation regardless of Bitcoin. Now, this high back in early January was also driven by Tesla being in Bitcoin, and that's hype without actual substance. So it's similar, but Tesla has more factors. Like MicroStrategy is really like pre-MicroStrategy buying Bitcoin. No one had heard of it, right? Like MicroStrategy stock didn't go anywhere for like 5 years, if not more. So, but Tesla kept rising with or without Bitcoin. So there's definitely correlations there, but they're very, like, look at MicroStrategy stock. Like it actually did nothing. It actually did nothing for a decade.
Yeah, we might want to monitor this one for a hyperwave because it's looking pretty good. So one other quick thing,
that's a crazy phase one though.
I'll have to look at it closer. So what's happening right now is a really great example of why shortening the cycle, the periods that we watch for Consensio to 4-day is better than weekly, because if you were looking at weekly, you would completely be out of this move still. But if you went with the 4-day chart, I mean, I'm switching gears.
Yeah. So with these moving averages, you mean, wow, maybe I will get to collect on that bet with Joe Sass tomorrow before my flight.
Well, yeah, I'm watching some things on Bollinger Bands, but my point is this: a 4-day chart on Consensio basically was bullish with a close, with the last candle close. You could be 100% in it at 45, 47K.
Yeah.
And be taking advantage of this huge pop. Whereas the weekly is not confirmed yet. The weekly.
I agree. But the weekly, I would be about 75% in.
I would too, but Tyler was such a stickler. If that long-term moving average was not at least the minimum flat, he would still be sitting there waiting. I mean, because I don't know, man.
You are above the other two moving averages. I mean, that's the only factor, right? Like the moving averages are clearly in the right order of sequence.
Yeah.
And the only like remember what Tyler said, with 3 moving averages plus the closing price of the asset, that is how many permutations? Like 20 or 30, right?
Yeah.
It's 4. And the moving averages could be rising or falling, right? So it's Man, don't do math on live air, right? So what are we saying here? So we have, so the price could be above and below. That's a double. Moving average could be rising or falling. That's a double. And the three moving averages could be in three different orders, right? So that's 6 times 8, 48. That's 48 different permutations, right? And the only one out of the 48, and I'm probably not even doing my math right? But it's at least 48 different combinations. So out of the 48 different combinations, this is the only one that isn't lined up, right? 1 out of 48. Though I will grant you that this one is really important, but it's not more important than the other 47 combined.
True, but the point is that it's all confirmed on the 4-day chart, 100%.
Yes,
unequivocally.
Yes.
And you know, like a strategy that you can use if you're willing to take the risk is buying the drop to the long-term moving average on 4-day. You can set a really tight stop loss because if price goes below that, it's going way lower. So it gave you 4 candles to buy the dip on 4-day chart.
Yeah, but I was nervous as fuck over here, man.
Where's your long term? I don't see your long term on there.
No, the orange.
What time frame are you on?
4-day. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the weekly. My bad. Here's the 4-day. Yeah, you're right. The 4-day allowed you to buy this dip off the long term. You're right.
Yeah, you just have to be really careful because that's literally the trend direction disappearing if that's lost.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this 4-day chart is incredible, man. Good call on this. Really good call on this.
Yeah, man. So look, this move is legit.
All right, I gotta wrap this up. Like, I got like actual shit to do. You sent another question. Oh, no, it was Patrick. Hold on, Patrick. Some weekly, daily convergences coming up for first list. Oh, okay. I think you sent that earlier. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine. All right, covered that. All right, Rashul, let's look at your non-trading questions. I'll try to do this quick. If a company is going to raise prices for its products, is it good or bad for its stock price? Depends. It does depend. If people buy that product, it's good. You know, if Apple releases a brand new phone, charges $2,500, and there's a line down the street, that's great. If Apple releases a new $2,500 phone and everyone hates it and no one's lining up, that is very, very bad. So it really depends. It's impossible to say. What happens to an economy after debt to GDP grows beyond high levels like 100%? Absolutely nothing. Look at Japan. Nothing happens. Giving out free money doesn't always lead to higher taxes, right? Like inflation is stealth tax anyway. It doesn't always lead to higher taxes. It doesn't, because a lot of times the government's giving out free money because they took away people's jobs. So, you know, people aren't wealthier. So what are you going to tax? So it doesn't. They're all kind of independent. Taxes are absolutely everywhere. Why is a country like USA, Australia, who give free money, are worse than countries like India, where government doesn't help anyone? I mean, they're not worse or better. I mean, I wouldn't say America's worse than India. Like most giving out free money lead to more taxes. I mean, yeah, I mean, the government has to justify the giving out of money, and they can't justify giving out money unless they're taxing people, right? So it's kind of like a bribe back to the people they are taxing. It's hard for India to give out money. If India also does tax, just that India is a large cash economy. So, and lots of people get around the tax problem. People are high on balanced diet. No, balanced diet is bullshit. Having rice each day is better than switching rice wheat. No, I don't believe in a balanced diet. I believe in vitamins and minerals. The government has identified certain number of vitamins and minerals. I think we have about 7 vitamins and like, I don't know, 12 or 14 minerals or something. Or maybe a little more. You know, there's like 6 different B vitamins and vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin K, vitamin E, vitamin D. So you have those vitamins. And you have minerals, and I believe in the balance between them, and obviously different amounts of each one you need to have in your body. But eating different foods is irrelevant, right? Like if you can eat like 3 foods, liver, oysters, and a salmon roe, those 3 foods alone will cover 90% of your vitamins and minerals that you need in your body. So why diversify? Like why diversify food? The important thing is your body nutritious? So there you go. So no, you could eat like just 10 different things and satisfy your vitamin and mineral intake way better than having a balanced diet of a bunch of garbage. Exactly why is gluten so bad for humans? Now, I'm not qualified to properly answer that, but there's lots of books and lots of articles from doctors. You want to go there. You don't want to hear this from me. I just know that it's bad, right? Like certain things are bad. Like for example, doing chemotherapy when you don't have cancer is probably bad. I have not researched why doing chemotherapy for not having cancer is bad. And I don't really need to research why doing chemotherapy if I don't have cancer is bad, but I'm pretty sure that it is. And if someone asks me, well, why is doing chemotherapy bad when you don't have cancer? I am unable to answer that question, but I can tell them, no, don't do it, right? Like there are things that you kind of know are bad without needing to do a shit ton of research to explain it to someone that doesn't understand as to why it's bad. Gluten is one of those, right? I have felt and seen and read enough, and it didn't take long to realize that it's bad, but scientifically and nutritionally to explain to someone else why it's bad, I never even bothered. I just know that it is, like my chemo example. What exactly are sanctions and how and why countries impose them? Sanctions is basically removing a country from having economic activity. North Korea is under heavy sanctions. So any country that wants to do business with the US is not allowed to do business with North Korea. Otherwise, they lose their ability to do business with the US. It is meant to punish the government of those people, when in reality, it only punishes those people. Because I mean, I'm not saying America should start trading with North Korea, but it's a debatable subject. Like here's an example. Back in like the 1500s, when Amsterdam was becoming the global superpower with their navy and their trading and building out New Amsterdam, which became New York, their merchants were actually selling weapons to their enemies. And this was okay for the Dutch government. Like the Dutch government approved the selling of weapons to their enemies. And their reasoning for that was that if we don't sell weapons to our enemies, then our enemies will sell weapons to our enemies and economically benefit from selling those weapons to then put us in a weaker position. But by us selling the weapons to our enemies, we are benefiting economically to actually beat them in the war. It's very, very interesting logic. You should like Google the history of that. All right, and on that note, we are done. Hey guys, thank you for watching. Bitcoin is breaking $55,000, and that is absolutely incredible. All right. Oh, you sent a couple of messages. No, I covered all your questions. All right, guys. Was an awesome Q&A. And final look at the price of Bitcoin. The bet with Joe Saz could be won by tomorrow at 55K. Awesome. Don't forget to come out to Dubai. Bye, guys.